Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Money Matters, where I'm taking you on my personal journey to get on top of my finances through budgeting, saving, and hopefully investing. And I do want to put it out there that I am not a financial advisor in any way, shape, or form. I'm just going to be sharing with you some things that I'm doing with my personal finances to get on top of them. And hopefully you can learn some things that you can apply to your current situation. So in my last video, I shared with you how I am increasing my credit score. So if you did not see that video, then I will link it in the description box below. You want to go ahead and check that out because I do share some important things that can help you improve your credit score as well. And I have 5 credit cards, and my line of credit on those 5 credit cards was about $7,500. I was using 83% of that $7,500. So that's roughly about, let's say about $6,200. And I wanted to see movement with my score, but I wanted it to be relatively quickly. Yeah, this does require patience, but I'm just not that patient. And $7,500, owing around almost $7,500 and trying to pay that at one time just wasn't feasible for me. So I just kept thinking, oh, well, if I pay $100 here, $200 there, that would just take a long time for me to see any real movement. So what I'm about to share with you was a game changer for me because it rectified that problem for me, because I was able to bring down my utilization relatively quickly and my scores have started to go up. And I shared in my last video that overall, since I started this in around mid-March, I've increased my score by 15 points, which I think is pretty good. And I just want to keep that momentum going. So let me talk about what I'm doing and that I think might work for you, but I just want to make sure you have to be organized to do this. There are some important dates that you will need to know in order to do this correctly. So I want to make sure you understand that. So I have a budget planner. So this is my budget planner. If you don't have one of these, get one of these bad boys, not necessarily this this brand. You can get one of these, just something to keep you organized so you can remember these important dates, because these dates are going to be the driving force behind this working the right way. So let me just break it down for you. I started with one card. That card, in order to bring it down, I had to pay $1,700. And $1,700 might as well be $20,000. I just wasn't able to do that. $1,700 at one time out of my paycheck. I only get paid once a month, and that's a whole other story, getting paid once a month. But me getting paid once a month and paying $1,700 at one time to pay that balance down so I can start, decreasing my utilization, it just wasn't feasible for me because I had bills to pay. So I'm like, if I pay $1,700 out of my check, how am I going to pay my bills? But that's the best thing about this is you have on your credit cards a revolving line of credit, which I knew that. This is one of those things where when you hear it, you think, I knew that, and it makes sense. But yeah, I know that. I have a revolving line of credit. So when you pay your balances down on your cards, whatever you pay now becomes available to you. That's the revolving line of credit. And that's what is key. But the key thing to remember is when to access those funds. That's what the big thing is here. When to access those funds. And that's why the dates are important. So let me just show you, because I'm very visual. So I know some people out there are visual too. The due date on that card is the 2nd of the month. Every day, every 2nd of the month, this is my due date. I pay it on or before the due date. Make sure you're not late. Make sure I go online and I pay it as soon as I get paid. I get paid at the end of the month. I go ahead and pay this card because I know it'll be credited before the due date. So make sure you pay on time every time, because late payments stay on your report for a long time. This date, this is the one that you really need to pay attention to. This is my closing date. On that Capital One card, my closing date is the 6th of every month. So when I pay my balance, when I paid that $1,700, which brought my available credit back up to $2,050 because that's the limit on my card, and that $1,700 that I paid down brought my credit limit back up to $2,050, and my closing date is on the 6th. So in this time frame, when this date shows up, it shows that I have a zero balance. I called the credit company and asked them for my reporting date. So this is the date. These are the dates. They said the 8th or the 9th. These are the dates that they report my activities up until the 6th. And since I paid my $1,700 to bring my balance to a zero, what was reported was that, wow, she paid her balance down. So when I paid that before the 6th and when my statement closed, that's what was reported to the credit bureau. So here's the key thing to remember though. I now have access to those funds. Now, as soon as I paid it and it was credited, I think it was credited like the 2nd or the 3rd, yes, my available credit went back up. I now had access to those funds on the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th, but I cannot use them during that time because if I use those funds before this date, then whatever I charged would have been reported to the credit bureaus, and that's not what I wanted. I wanted a good utilization to be reported. So when I paid that $1,700 down, brought my balance down to zero, statement closed at 6th, they reported what I paid as of that closing date. So that's why it's important. So the soonest that I could access the funds to pay for gas, pay my bills, my life insurance, buy gas, buy groceries, I started using it on the 10th of the 10th, which is after the report date. Okay, so this date is important as well. So to me, for that particular card, the first date I could access those funds is the 10th. So let me just break it down for you because this is important. The credit bureaus got my report either on the 8th or the 9th. My report consisted of my balance as of the 6th of the month. And because I paid that $1,700, as far as the credit bureaus know, I was being a good girl, and I now brought my very high balance down to zero, and my credit utilization went from 83% to 53% just by paying that one card down. But I still had bills to pay. So on the 10th, I was paying my life insurance, I was buying groceries, I was buying gas, and paying some other bills with that same $1,700 because it's a revolving line of credit. And that's the beauty of this hack is you are able to show the credit bureaus that you're paying down your card, bringing down your credit utilization, but if you time it just right, you will still have access to those funds to pay your bills. And that's what I did. And then I just do it again the next month and watch my utilization go down and just maintain it. Now, I have 5 cards. I don't do this for all 5 of my cards. I only do this for about 2 of my cards. And I don't recommend that if you have multiple cards like I do, that you try to do this with all of your cards. I suggest you pick either 1 or 2 of your cards. But this is a way to bring that utilization down relatively quickly and still have access to your funds. But as far as the credit bureaus are concerned, because you are accessing the funds at the right time, your utilization is where it needs to be. Okay, so that's the beauty of this hack, and that's why it was such a game changer for me. Another thing I want to caution you is that not all of your bills, not all of your expenses can be paid with a credit card, and there could be some charges that are applied depending on the bill you're paying. So for example, I can't pay my mortgage or my student loans with a credit card. So those I just pay directly out of my checking account. So you need to make sure that if you're going to do this, that you know which one of your bills can be paid with a credit card. That's key. Grocery, any other charges, groceries, gas, those are fine. Okay. Another thing is I was able to pay my car payment with my Capital One card. However, they did charge me a cash advance fee for doing that, and my car lender, they charged me about $6 to do that. And yes, that is an additional fee, but it was worth it for me to bring that credit utilization down faster so that my score could go up faster. So that's just a personal preference. You don't have to pay your car payment if you are in the same situation. But for me, that little bit of money was worth it for me to see some movement quickly. And like I said, I'm just not that patient. You might be more patient than me, but I just wasn't. And because I had so much that I owed, it was just gonna take me forever. So that's why I'm so excited to share this with you. If this is something that you think you can do, make sure, like I said, that you are on top of those dates. Make sure you are organized. And you could basically do this like I'm doing it. I just keep doing it with those 2 cards over and over and over again. And as far as the credit bureaus are concerned, I'm being a good girl and I'm paying down my balances and bringing down my utilization, and my scores are reflecting that. And my other cards, I'm just paying like $100, $120, $100, whatever I can, muster up at the end of the month, and then just pay them down a little bit at a time. And I don't use those funds. Once I pay them down, it stays on the card. So yeah, my goal is to legitimately pay down my cards and not having to access the funds. But this way, I am doing that, and I'm seeing movement in a much more timely manner. So I thank you for joining me today. I hope this is something that you can use and apply to your current situation. And if you learned one thing today that can help you, then please remember to like and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know when I upload another video. And remember, everything you do with your money matters. Bye.